Hi, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share the video if you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up, pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I would appreciate that. It's not because you lost your mojo, guys. When you attempt that relationship or that interaction leading towards a relationship, we're talking boyfriend, girlfriend, intimate type of relationship, or let's just extend that. Let's just say relationships in general. As an awakened empath, you will attempt the same, pretty much seemingly the same things you attempted prior to your awakening, which is to have interactions of different sorts. But what will be the difference is, even though you're not doing a whole bunch of things differently, you're aware of different things and pitfalls and dark energy and whatnot that you're supposed to be avoiding. But what God is going to do for you, he's going to move those things out of the way for you. Because a lot of times, even though you're awakened, a narcissist is so cunning. Sometimes it takes more than just casual observation to determine they are narcissists. And their energy is so low, and it doesn't matter how awakened you are, if it's not that time for you to become aware of that particular situation, or you are aware, but you're blinded by the conscious collective. And what happens is God removes that situation for you. Essentially, what I'm saying to you guys, it doesn't matter what you attempt awakened. If it's not for you, it will fail. It will fail before it even gets off of the ground. That interaction leading towards some type of relationship, it will foil. That person on the other side, a receiving end of you, meaning that person that you are attempting to have that interaction with, it will go nowhere because they sense, see, and observe something about you that they don't want any part of. Now, in times past, you might have questioned yourself to say, wow, am I coming on too strong? Am I doing something wrong? Am I seeming like I'm a little too thirsty? It has nothing to do with you and your ethics and your moral. It has everything to do with your vibration and how you're moving. Your aura disturbs. It disturbed before, but you notice the narcissist did come into your presence. They latched on to you, but because they were able to latch on was simply because you were not aware of what you are aware now. God has given you a different perspective to that same intuition. He's giving you a different angle to it. And a lot of times this will be an aura you carry that you are not really completely conscious of. And so God will intervene on your behalf. So this is why these interactions will fail. This is why people will automatically get bent out of shape with you for no apparent reason. This is why you'll get terminated from a job. This is why you'll get demoted. This is why you'll get laid off, passed over for a promotion. This is why family members won't invite you to a particular get together, and it'll be like they will pretend that it was an oversight, but it will be on purpose. God is removing some of these things out of your way as much as you are able to be diligent with your own elevation and isolation and vibrating your own existence. God is going to give you incentives, and those incentives are a lot of times he will protect you from your own self. He will protect you from your own self. He will see that you're being led to slaughter. That's how good God is. That's how good God has been for me. And in the midst of it, you won't see it this way. But oh man, when it has a little bit of time to go past, you will reflect and look back on certain things, and it will make perfect sense why that thing didn't work. It's not because you lost your mojo. Because an awakened empath has little to do with mojo than it does with who you are as a whole person, coming into yourself and awareness of who you are. You just move so much different than the rest of the world. You're in tune more so than most people around you. You're unattached from a lot of the things in the world that people tend to make deals with the devil, where it pertains to ethics. You know, I talk a lot about in the workplace. There are some people that will know something is dead wrong regarding a situation by way of another coworker, something unjust, and they won't dare speak up. They will speak under their breath in the break room, but they'll only speak that to people who they can confide in, that they know won't run around and they'll have just a little small circle of cowardice people to say, well, you know, that was wrong what they did. But they won't speak outward about it. And this is you as an empath to begin with, but awakening in tune to self. There are certain things you just don't allow. There are certain things you just don't sign on to. There are certain things you just don't associate with. And so when you could attempt to try to go get a certain job, you'll get passed over for it. And I'll tell you something just to close out with this conversation. Me, in my experience, this has been something that's happened to me a lot in my life. And this is additionally something that I'm coming to grasp with and to accept. I can go to a register, whereas everybody's going through that register, scanning their debit card, ATM card, or whatever you want to call it. I always have a problem at these computers. It doesn't reject it so much so, but I'll just say glitch. It is a problem. It is a problem. You know, right now I'm walking around my house, I'm turning on the lights and I'm getting shocked. And I use dryer sheets to dry my clothes. And a lot of times I just don't dry them in the dryer. I just like air dry them. Like this hoodie, I'll just air dry it, because if I don't have a need for it right away, I just conserve electricity or it's a gas dryer. But the point is, just I'll hang it up. I'm old school. Just hang it up. And so there is no static clean, I don't think, when you hang stuff up. But this has always been the case with me, here or there, more so than I think the average person experiences. But if you're experiencing this, you touch stuff, it shocks you. You have this situation where you go and you try to purchase something with a card, and it's always a problem with your card as opposed to 10 people before you. What else? There's a couple of things. I've gone to gas pumps, paid for the gas, go out, and it's not just isolated, because this has happened to a lot of people, the gas pump thing, but it happens to me in succession. It could be a matter of a day. It'll be like 5 or 6 things can happen, consecutively throughout that day. And I never got put off by it, but it was always something that, I would verbalize it either to the cashier and say, my days, everything's been doing this. Wouldn't be mad or anything like that. And just like venting and sharing it outward. But now I'm coming to a point in my life, I realize there is something unique about you as an individual, because certain things about you as an empath, you're going to approach and you're going to be met with resistance. And the electronic machines are no exception to that. You're going to be met with resistance. And it kind of puts me in the mind of the Christ, because we carry his spirit. And so when he walked into a place, he shifted the energy, he shifted the atmosphere. Even the demons, when they saw him coming, and they were like, what do we have to do with you? They know the way he rolled. They know the way he moved. He moved in truth, authenticity, genuineness. And see, when fake people around you, they can't sit still, they can't sit comfortable. And so this is why these interactions where you may think it should have been leading towards something, and many times you'll exchange numbers with a person, and like I say, leading towards something like a friendship or whatnot, and they won't get back to you. They won't get back to you at all. But in the midst of them interacting with you, you'll see so much glee and excitement. And in fact, they will actually solicit you to exchange information, and they'll just seem like they're very interested and engaged with you at that moment. But what happens is they go home or they go their merry way and they begin to process that interaction. And what is undeniable is something does not sit well with them. It's not something wrong with you. There's something right with you. And there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong within them, to be specific. And what they have concluded is, I'm not willing to gamble whatever it is I just experienced in the presence of that person. That's how strong your presence is as awakened empaths. As in times before, they would approach you and see sucker on your head. And when they approach you now in an awakened state, they don't see sucker. Like not Kevin Samuels, like Cat Williams said, they see honey badger. They see honey badger, which is the most dangerous, I believe. Well, a scorpion is dangerous as well. But a honey badger, nothing messes with that thing. Nothing. Nothing in nature messes with it. A honey badger has slayed snakes. And they look unassuming as you and I. So there's an aura. There's a spirit that walks with you. And it protects you. It always has protected you. But now you recognize and you're in tune more so than you were before. And you walk with it. You walk with that spirit now, as opposed to it just walking with you unbeknownst to you. Felt compelled to come and talk to you guys about that. So wherever you are, don't determine that it's something wrong with you per se, because these attempts have ended in what looks like failure. Because right now, where you're at is exactly where you're supposed to be. And those things that you had desired to, for God to help you with and remove, He is removing them. So you can focus on where you're trying to go as a human being. So you can be steadfast and steady going forth. Because you're going to need to be steady. You can see the walls closing in on darkness, but they still won't relent. They won't relent. They won't repent. And that's the beauty of an empath. You have the wherewithal to sit with yourself, have discussions, have dialogue, and listen to the voice. And you listen to the voice. You process what the voice is saying to you. You apply that with the experiences that you've just encountered. And you measure that by what should have happened that didn't happen. And then you start to think about what things played a role in this thing not happening in the way that I expected it. And you begin to process all these things. And most often it comes back to you. Whereas you say, I played a very vital part. I contributed greatly to that thing in the way that it went. Because the things that I did them with eyes half open and half closed. It's a learning process. but certain things we don't have to learn over again. Hope this helps, guys. That being said, bless.